in Detroit. Great, and we talked about a company called Dr. Doc. My name is John. They are a partner, co-founder, not ex-running. He's my dad. Was the greatest shot.
What's our mission, Pat?
Our mission really happiness.
Right. So, what do you want to make sure everybody knows?
I want to let you know, I have down that road. And down that road, never hold me back.
Right. So, here's what we thought we'd talk about today. We're going to talk about the story of how we got started and a little bit on the entrepreneurial story there, because we've heard from so many people who say, hey, we're thinking of doing something with our sibling or our child. Then we'll talk about the business we've built, the social enterprise, and how that differs from a regular business. We'll talk about the unified workplace that we've created, where people with differing abilities work side by side, people with neurotypical people and the benefits. And we'll share some of the lessons that we've learned. Okay?
Okay, Dad.
You ready?
Ready.
All right. So our story, Kayla, I listened to you. You started in preschool. Our story starts in a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
No.
I'm older than 2016.
In the fall of 2016. And where were you? What were you doing?
I was in school. I was in Hunter High School, and at the same time in real estate tax program, I studied retailing.
And like many of you here have or will, John was heading for that 21-year-old cliff. They would let him stay in school when he was 21, and then they were going to say, get the heck out of here. So you were looking around trying to figure out what you were going to do when you were done with school, right?
I did.
What were some of the things you were looking at?
I looked at college, program, and work.
Different jobs, right?
Different jobs.
But he didn't really see anything that he liked. Because the reality is, there aren't a lot of great choices out there. Now, at the same time, to make things also cheery, I was working in a business that shut down overnight. So I was 58 years old, no job, no income. What the heck are we going to do? John and I, we like to live indoors.
I like that.
Right? So, and at that point in my life, I didn't want to work for somebody else. So I was starting some online businesses, trying to figure out what are we going to do. John here, you came to me, and what did you tell me?
I did. I wanted to go to Ethiopia with my dad.
John is a born entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
He didn't see a job that he liked. He'll create a job. So we were going to be business partners. John is the youngest of 3 sons. He's one I can work with. So,
Very good.
right? So, what was your first suggestion for a
First idea,
business?
a fun store.
A fun store. Anybody have any idea what a fun store could be? Ah. So then you had another idea. What was the next one?
Next idea, a food truck. I got an idea from the movie Chef and John Favreau. The movie about dollars and businesses.
Now, a food truck seemed like something fun that we could do. And here's an experiment you can try at home. Tell people you're thinking of starting a food truck. Everybody will tell you what to cook. You got to tell them, get your own food truck. But we ran into a problem.
We can cook.
Yeah. Right before Thanksgiving, in 2016, John had his eureka moment.
I did. I was stuck creating stuff. Why stuck? I worked creating stuff my entire life because it's fun, creative, colorful socks, and always let me be me.
We used to drive around looking for socks for John. And I don't know about your kids, John has a very definite sense of style.
I
He
did.
would lay his clothes out the night before school. And his brother Jamie would come to me and say, Dad, you can't let him wear that to school.
He does that kind of thing.
So, if you're thinking of starting a business and selling something, one route to go is if there's something you love, chances are other people will love it too, and you can find your tribe. So we decided we were going to set up a store, John's Crazy Socks, because John came, he didn't just say, as a whim, we should sell socks. He already roughly had the name. He had drawings of a website. When I suggested that we should have a different name like Mark's Serious Socks,
Oh,
he shot that
I
down.
have been here.
Last Monday I had my shot though.
Yeah, it was
Right.
cool.
So, and here's what the traditional way of starting a business, you get the idea and then stop everything and go and prepare a business plan. Do a lot of research and market analysis, look at competitors, work on projections. That's not what we did. We went the lean startup route. A fairly basic idea. We'd get it up and running, and then we'll find out. If people want to buy socks, they'll buy socks, and if they don't, we'll do something else. So we built a website.
Right.
We got a little bit of inventory. The only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page and make some videos.
And I talk about socks, and more socks.
Right? You know, and if you're thinking about something, one way, starting a business, you can focus on all the things you don't have. We didn't know how to make videos. We didn't have any equipment. I had my iPhone. Went out and made videos. And we were a little surprised because those videos, even before we opened, started getting attention. What day did we open?
We opened on a Friday, December 9th, 2016.
And we were very fortunate. We got a flood of orders, or certainly what felt like a flood of orders. We live on Long Island in the town of Huntington. John was in Huntington High School. We had temporary office space there. Most of those orders were local, right? So this all looked good. I will let you in on a little bit of inside information in case you think it's all easy and smooth. What time were we going to open on Friday, December 9th?
We supposed to be open at 10 o'clock.
But?
After crash.
Website crashed.
And we opened at 3 afternoon.
We had to rebuild the website. And then we had another issue. It was great that we had a bunch of orders. We didn't have that much inventory. So we were selling out of what we had. So that Saturday night, I drove to
and I got to find socks.
every
we
Kmart
can't sell.
in Suffolk County, buying all the Christmas socks I could, just so we would have something to sell. So here we were, we have these orders, most of them are local. And what do you suggest we should do?
I decided to do a home delivery.
So we got red boxes,
Like those.
just like this. Got red boxes, put the socks in the boxes, and we looked at it and said, this needs something else. So what do you put in it?
I put a candy and sticky note.
And we loaded up the car and drove around, and John knocked on doors delivering the socks. There would be times, it would be 10 o'clock at night, and he's knocking on a door. People were not expecting John there with a box of socks. But how the customers respond?
A customer response, they loved the sock. And they took a photo with our sock, and I put it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I get a better words.
So we learned some things. We're going to test this, right? That month, we shipped 452 orders and had $13,000 in revenue. That seemed like an enormous amount. So we learned one thing. People want to buy socks. What else did we learn?
2, I don't know buy socks from me.
They do. They related to John. They related to the fact that we had already pledged to donate 5% to the Special Olympics. They related to the personal touch. And immediately, we started getting emails and notes from people talking about how they found John to be an inspiration. And it was mainly from families that had young children who had Down syndrome, or families who had siblings they had lost. This still takes some adjustment to us. To a degree, we hear a lot, John is an inspiration. At the same time, John is the kid who sits next to me and is texting at me in the car that, Dad, I just farted. He's my third son. It's just, it's his job. And we learned something else. We got some confidence and learned that this young man and this old man, we could sell socks. There are some lessons there for those of you who might have an entrepreneurial inkling. One, build on your strengths and what you love. See if you can make that work. Two, create a team. John didn't go and do this by himself, and I didn't go and do it by myself. I could not do this without John, and I would dare say John could not do it without me. I can't think of anything outside of maybe some arts where there's one individual who goes and creates something meaningful. So you can think about getting the right people to work with you in building and taking a chance with an enterprise. And that's the third thing. We took a chance. Stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Go and do it. You know what the worst thing that can happen? You fail. Okay. Take that chance, right? And learn by doing. We learned, it was a spur of the moment thing. We learned, we knew we wanted to do really great customer service and connect with our customers. But it was a spur of the moment thing to put the candy in and put the notes in. And our customers loved it, so we learned about that. So that's how we got started. Very fortunate that John had the idea we should sell socks. We've gone now and we've built a business on this. What's our mission, pal?
Bring happiness.
So some of you may have had the unfortunate experience of participating in a corporate exercise to fashion a mission statement. I feel sorry if you have. But here's something to try. Go in any business, any organization, and ask somebody, what's your mission? See what they tell you. Ours is very simple, spreading happiness. And we talk about it all the time. Right? You have to know what your mission is and what you're about. And what we've done is build a social enterprise. It's a different type of business model. We have a social mission and an e-commerce or a business mission. And they're indivisible and feed off of each other. We built it on 4 pillars: inspiration and hope,
Giving back and surgical love.
right? And making it personal. So to making it personal, what goes in every package?
Every package gets chicken nose and candy.
Right? We run a pick and pack warehouse. Anybody who sells online has to have a pick and pack warehouse. Many people outsource that. I think Amazon is now the big provider of the service. We do it ourselves because we're trying to create jobs. We call our pickers sock wranglers. Our packers are happiness packers.
Right.
So every package, you get a sticker on your packing slip with a picture of the sock wranglers and the happiness packers who worked on your package. When you get a package from us, it has John's smiling face on the outside. You open it up, you get your socks, you get a thank you card. On the flip side of the thank you card, I think we have one in here.
Yes.
You wanna show it?
Right. Here we do.
Is a note, is a story about how we got started, our giving back. You get 2 discount cards, one for you, and who's the other one for?
And one for our friend.
One to give to a friend. You see the packing slip with the pictures and the names of people who did the work. So you're not just getting socks. You're getting a little dose of happiness. Right? We do other things. John, every day, works with Christy, one of our colleagues who's here. She's our content commander. You make thank you videos.
I do
right?
thank you videos.
Right? You do notes and packages,
do.
anything we can do to create a personal connection with our customer. And then socks you can love.
Socks you love.
How many different pairs of socks do
We have 2,300 different kinds of socks.
Right. Which now makes us the world's largest sock store in terms of choice. We're not outselling Walmart, but we wanted to have maximum choice. And here's a place where diversity helps again, right? I'm a 60-year-old, white, middle-class, overweight guy living in the suburbs of New York City.
Stop it. As you know. I love you.
Right? I can't pick socks for that 16-year-old girl living in Mobile, Alabama. So instead of us trying to pick what you're gonna love, we're gonna have everything. And everybody contributes. So it started with John and me picking out the socks, but now everybody contributes that. And in fact, we have our happiness Imagineer, Linda, who's in charge of organizing all those suggestions. But more than just having those individual socks, what else do we have?
We have Santa Claus Club. We have give away boxes and bags. And we have my favorite Mud Day Manning mystery bag. I picked 3 pairs of socks for men, women, and children.
Well, when is it available? The Monday Madness
only on Monday, 10 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock p.m.
Right?
That I can't tell you.
Right, I asked him what's in it, he said, I'm not telling you, it's a surprise, right? We now do custom socks, and we now have a new product, what's that?
And we have greeting cards.
Who designed the first greeting card?
I designed Valentine cards.
So we now have a line of greeting cards designed by our colleagues with different abilities. We have Down syndrome greeting cards, we have an autism note card. Our newest ones are a best teacher greeting card and a special teacher greeting card. All ways in which we can show what people can do. Right? Third pillar, giving back.
Give it back.
Right from the beginning, we pledged 5% to the Special Olympics. Now, why 5% of our earnings? Why the Special Olympics?
I am better Olympic. I tell why it makes me super sexy.
Why?
As you can see, John is shy and lacking in confidence. Right? But we also have awareness socks that we really want to start calling acceptance socks that connect with communities and raise money for our charity partners. And the first one, I think we have it in here, was our Down syndrome awareness sock. And we'll tell you a little story about this. So it's January of 2017, and we're trying to figure out how we grow this business and sell socks. And we have a lot to learn. One of the things we're learning is nobody buys anything in January. They spent all their money at Christmas. We discovered that people wear crazy socks on World Down Syndrome Day. You would think we knew that in advance, but we're not that smart. So we go looking for a Down syndrome sock that we could sell, because we were just selling other people's socks and couldn't find one. What'd you say?
I said, I want to make one, I want to play one.
So John designed the world's first.
I found a awareness sock. I do her tongue line.
And even this one, the original one was purple with a lilac trim, because the best-selling socks we had at the time were purple. And we shared the design on social media to get feedback. And feedback we got. People told us they loved the idea of the Down syndrome awareness sock. And they also said, hey dummies, the Down syndrome colors are blue and yellow. Why are you making a purple sock? And then we called up 2 groups. We called up the National Down Syndrome Society, and we called up a local group, ACDS, used to be called the Association for Children with Down Syndrome. And we said, look, we're going to sell this sock and we want to donate $1 from each pair to each of you. Would that be okay? They didn't know us from a hole in the wall. But both of them said, okay, you want to send us money, that would be fine. We've heard from Mike Smith, who runs ACDS, who said, they were looking like, what could go wrong here? And who are these guys? Why do they want to do it? And they decided we'll give them a chance. And a month later, John sent him a $3,000 check. And he said, John's my new best friend. But the giving back, so we have a series of these socks now. We have an autism, we have multiple Down syndrome awareness socks, all designed by John.
I did.
We have autism awareness socks, Williams syndrome awareness socks, forget-me-not Alzheimer's awareness socks, P.S. I love you suicide awareness socks that raise money for charity partners. And it's more than just writing a check and giving money. We do anything we can to support the Down syndrome community. And we know that people wear these because it's a point of pride. Let's show who we are. Let's share this. Let's celebrate this, right?
Like that.
And you like that?
I loved it.
Right? We donate gift boxes and to auction items. The last 2 galas for the National Down Syndrome Society, we have auctioned off the ability to design a sock that we'll then sell. That leads to a bidding frenzy, which is always great to see. And we sponsored an Autism Can Do scholarship, in part because we had a group come in and say, we thought you only work with Down syndrome people, when in fact, the leading diagnosis in our organization would be people on the autism spectrum. But the most important pillar is inspiration and hope. We're just a little company. Yet all we want to do is change the world. We want to show what people with differing abilities can do if you just give them a chance. So we focus on what people can do, not what they can't do. And we hire people, but it's not enough to just hire people. We want the world to see what they can do. And that operates in several ways. We want them to see that we have a successful and a growing business because of whom we hire. And we make videos all the time. I'm going to show you one in a second. To call them lo-fi might be to overstate them. But no broccoli, nothing your mother says is good for you. We want to show people being fun and out there. We host school tours to our offices, so we have 4 to 6 school tours come in each week. We host work groups from high schools and social service agencies. We have 6 a week that come in just to get some experience and exposure of jobs they can do. We've been very fortunate. We do a good number of speaking engagements, right?
Right.
Where were we last week?
Last week, we in Canada, Ottawa and Vancouver. When you get down there, a U.S. State Department.
We're now part of the U.S. State Department Speakers Bureau, so they planned a mini tour of Canada. We didn't get T-shirts made up, but next time we will. And advocacy. We love every opportunity we have at the National Down Syndrome Society to go to Washington and knock on doors. John is quite charming. I am a bull in a china shop. This year was a photo shoot arranged with Chuck Schumer. So he's, and we've done this before with him, actually, with Special Olympics. And the way they set it up is they line it all up, get everybody set, so the senator can walk in, take the photo, and walk out. Well, he walks in, and John immediately grabs him because John's going to present him with an award and starts talking to him, and that's that. Now he's stuck. And then I'm looking at him saying, and Senator, we haven't asked. And we got to take care of this Time Act, and we have to eliminate the sub-minimum wage. And he's looking at me thinking, maybe I should call security. Right? But we want to do what we can to show that it's not just awareness, it's acceptance. Right? So let me show you one of the videos, see if I can do this right. Will it play? Oh, they're in the back there. Good, thank you.
Hi, my name is Zach Roger. It's a Saturday show.
It may not seem like much, but the fact that some of those folks agreed to be in a video is a really big step forward. And I know it's crazy. That's the type of stuff we do, just to show, look what folks can do. Look at the fun, look at the way that folks can contribute, look at the way we can engage. So we have this social enterprise model where the social mission and the e-commerce mission are indivisible. We have to succeed as a business because that enables us to do the other things. But it's also part of the point. It's showing that by hiring people with differing abilities, that leads to our success. In fact, Accenture just did a study that found companies that hire people with disabilities have higher profit margins than companies that don't. And our main issue is we're going to show that people with differing abilities are an asset and a plus for a business. Right? Part of what it's also saying, it's not enough to just sell stuff anymore. If you're going to sell the cheapest item, you will always have a market. It's really hard to sell the cheapest item. But if you're not, people are asking, who are you? Who am I giving my money to? How do you source your materials? How do you treat your workers? How do you engage in the community? And the social enterprise answers that question. So, okay?
Yeah, Dad.
We'll talk now a little bit about the unified workplace. So we have people with different abilities working side by side neurotypical folks. Be really clear. John here, he's the nice guy. I'm not a nice guy. We don't do any charity in hiring people. We don't give anybody a job. Everybody earns their job. Everybody has to come in and prove they can do the job. And everybody has to maintain their key. And what we're doing in that is saying we're going to treat you with dignity and respect. And people value that. And we commit to employee engagement. I can share a couple of anecdotes about our employees, about the value of having a job with meaning and purpose. I can tell you about Thomas. Thomas is on the autism spectrum. His mom called us up in November of 17. We were in a holiday blitz. Turns out people don't buy socks in the summer, they buy them like crazy in the holidays, so we're hiring. She says, I need you to hire my son. Great, bring him out. All he's got to do is pass the test. We'll train him, and he's got to pass the sock wrangler test. Tell me about Thomas. Thomas is in his early 20s. He's in a bad way. We have trouble getting him to come out of his room. He doesn't want to shower and shave. Hasn't spoken to his father in almost a year. And we can't get him to stick with any program. Sounds like a great employee. Bring him out. Thomas comes out, starts working with one of our sock wranglers, takes the test, passed with flying colors, because he may have been put on this earth to be a sock wrangler. Today, Thomas, who drives an hour to work, is showered and shaved and waiting at the door for his father to drive him out. We have no government programs, no government support, we have no special training. All we did was give him a job. There's Matt. Matt was one of the people dancing in that video. Matt has Asperger's. First day at a job, we're telling him everybody's going to be in videos. He puts his head down and says, I can't do that. I'm too shy. I'm too awkward. Let's just try. You and Matt made a video.
Yeah, we did.
Matt kind of liked that. He made another one. And then we had, I think it was the Fox Business News people come in. About a week later, Matt went up to the reporter and said, I want you to interview me. He's been on TV 5 times now. He was one of the people interviewed in the video you saw earlier. Again, we did nothing. Nothing at all. We just gave him a chance and let him work in a place where he was accepted and valued. There's Andrew, yet another person on the autism spectrum. And I could tell you stories all day when Andrew's growth. But Andrew was collecting SSI before he worked with us, and his parents don't charge him anything, which means every month he had to spend down the money he collected. Andrew didn't care. If Andrew doesn't care about something, you cannot push a rope. But now he has a job and he gets paid, and he likes to get that paper paycheck. He gets that. He knows when it's coming. He tells his mom, you have to take me to the bank, because he knows every penny he has, and he knows how he's going to spend it, because he's gone and earned that. And that's some of the dignity that giving a job to somebody that offers them. But the thing is, in the unified workplace, you would think the people that benefit are the people with the differing abilities. But everybody